Hey, what's up? There's so much information out there. How can we retain all of it? When we learn a lesson, how can we hold on to it and see it take effect in our lives? Well, there's actually a simple life hack that you can do for this. And I wrote this down on this board right here. Let me turn my camera around. With a 90% increase in retention. Now, how do you get a 90% increase in retention from the lessons that you learned? Simple. You find somebody else to teach the same lesson to. That could be in the format of writing. That could be in the format of blogging, making social media content, having a group, or just having a discussion with friends that are close by you. If we take what we learned, if we take the lessons that we learned, and we go out there and teach it to somebody else, we can retain it 90% better. Because when we can take it, it's not just in, we're able to express it out clearly in a way that people understand. The retention increases. Now, this brings up kind of a big topic on this. Well, how can I know if I know the topic good enough to teach it to somebody else? What if I don't know a topic good enough to teach it to somebody else? Usually when we learn lessons, okay, there's usually 1 to 2 aspects of it. Let's say it's a big lesson on marketing, okay? There might be 1 to 5% that you really got and understood. So take that part that you really understand and share that. If you go on your social media and share it. In fact, you could take this video right here that I'm doing right now and share it with some people today. And that's going to help solidify it for you to retain this information. When we take a lesson that we learn and we teach it to somebody else, our retention goes up. You can Google it too, 90% increase in retention. And yet, I talk with people all the time. They are afraid to teach what they know, teach what they just learned because maybe they haven't put it into practice yet. Maybe they don't have a track record or case studies or a mountain of accolades or achievements to be able to teach that to somebody else. This is why in school we have people do where they get up and they share with the class what they learned, or they fill in questions, or writing reports or essays. The whole concept of an essay is to essentially teach what you learned again. That's it. Think of it that way. And so this is what I'm saying. Nobody has to see it even. Nobody has to see it. This is why I recommend a lot of people take and start doing videos that maybe they don't post on social media. Write some blog posts that they don't put on their website to start to develop the practice of what they're learning and develop the practice of actually doing those things. I see often people come to me and they say, how do I get better at content creation? How do I get better at making content that connects with people? Now, I did a podcast episode this week where I talk about how to create content that resonates with people and gets them to take action to get more sales in your business. This was last week. But I want you to start doing this simply. When you learn something new that maybe it's been something that's hard for you to retain, you haven't applied it yet. It has to be something that you've never actually done before, that you've never actually applied in your life, or even have a track record of. Go do a little bit of writing, not an essay. It doesn't need to be perfect. The grammar doesn't need to be perfect. You're not going to be graded or told how good you were at learning it off of this. It's just a practice for you to retain the lesson. Write it down in a Word document, in a Google document. Make a quick little video. Make a quick audio recording. Have a conversation with a friend about what you learned, and start to take the lessons that you're learning and teach it to somebody else. Now, I know sharing this again, there's still more stuff that comes up through this. I want to know kind of what are your biggest hesitancies on teaching people? What is your biggest hiccups in sharing? Many times we think we're not good enough, we don't know the material good enough, etc. But you're going to learn it better by doing this practice. This is actually part of the process. And so if you start doing this, you're going to be able to retain what you learn better, share it better, and eventually over time you're going to get better at sharing this. This, by the way, right now is the first time that I've ever actually shared this lesson right here. Now, I've known this for years, but I've never actually shared it with anybody. I don't think I did the best job in this video, in fact, sharing this lesson, but you know what? I get better at it. This is what I make a lot of my content is lessons that I'm either learning or learned recently. Some of the stuff that I'm sharing is that. Things that maybe I've been applying for years but didn't know how to explain. And here's another part of this. If you're somebody that wants to become a better teacher, somebody that wants to become better at teaching, you have to do the work. You have to do the process. You have to start to explain things to people, write things down, make some videos, do some little bit of scary things that maybe you've never done before because you've been afraid of what will people think? How will they judge me? Is it going to be good enough? Listen, you are good enough right now. If you know your worth, and you need to know your worth and realize the value that you have of what's been deposited in you, that you can take it and share it with other people. You don't need to be afraid and allow your fear to keep you silent. Take those lessons that you've learned and just start to write them down a little bit. Just start to make some quick videos. Start to teach somebody else what you're learning. Share with other people the lessons that you're learning, and your retention is going to go up massively. And not just retention, not just filling a bucket with useless information, but when you retain it at that level, you are going to be able to apply it and take action that has an impact on your life that produces results. Grow your life, everybody, and we'll talk soon.